If this is a structure, then everything we know about human history is wrong. If it's not, then nature created something impossible. Either way, something doesn't add up. So what exactly is sitting at the bottom of the ocean, at the southernmost edge of Japan, near a small island called Yonaguni? The ocean hides something strange. The waters here are known for strong currents, deep blue visibility, and schools of hammerhead sharks. For years, divers came here for one reason only: marine life. Until 1986. That's when a local diver, exploring the seabed, noticed something unusual. At first, it didn't seem like much, just rock formations, but the longer he looked, the stranger it became. Because these weren't random shapes, they looked intentional, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. As more divers began exploring the area, the full scale of the structure started to reveal itself. What they found didn't look natural. It looked like architecture. Massive stone platforms, stacked in layers. Wide, flat surfaces, like terraces. Sharp edges, forming near-perfect angles. And then, the most unsettling detail. Steps. Large, evenly spaced steps, descending like a staircase into the ocean floor. Not broken, not jagged, clean, precise, almost designed. Some even pointed out what appeared to be pathways, corridors, and carved sections that resembled walls. It didn't look random. It looked like something that had a purpose. And that's when the real question emerged. If this was built, who built it? Because here's the problem. This entire structure lies underwater, and not just slightly below the surface, but deep enough that it could only have been dry land over 10,000 years ago. Before rising sea levels flooded entire regions of the planet. Before what we consider the beginning of civilization, which creates a disturbing possibility. If Yonaguni is man-made, then it wasn't built by any known civilization. Not the Egyptians, not the Mesopotamians, not anyone in recorded history. So that leaves us with two options. Either this is a natural formation, or history is missing something big. As news of the discovery spread, researchers and scientists began studying the site. One of the most well-known figures involved is marine geologist Masaaki Kimura. He spent years diving at Yonaguni, mapping the structure, analyzing its features. And according to him, this is not natural. He points to what he believes are clear signs of human modification. Straight cuts that look too clean, repeated patterns that don't seem random, formations that resemble man-made design. At one point, he even suggested that parts of the structure could be remnants of an ancient city, possibly connected to a long-lost civilization. But not everyone agrees. In fact, many scientists strongly disagree. Critics argue that everything seen at Yonaguni can be explained through natural processes. They say the rock in that region naturally fractures in straight lines. That over time, earthquakes, ocean currents, and erosion shape the formation into what we see today. And they have a strong point, because despite years of exploration, no tools have been found. No artifacts, no bones, no evidence of human activity. Just rock and shapes that look like something more. So now we're stuck between two explanations. One says this is a natural illusion. The other says it's something we don't fully understand yet. And neither side can completely prove their case. But here's where things get even stranger, because not all parts of Yonaguni look the same. Some sections appear rough, uneven, clearly shaped by nature. But others, they look almost engineered. Corners that feel deliberate, edges that seem calculated, surfaces that look flattened on purpose. And that raises a third possibility. What if both sides are right? What if this was a natural formation that was later modified by human hands? A foundation, reshaped into something functional, something meaningful. But if that's true, then we're back to the same question. Who did it? But there's something even more unsettling. Something most people don't notice at first. When you look closely at the structure, certain sections don't just look precise. They look repetitive, almost like a pattern. And patterns usually mean intention. Some divers reported seeing formations that resemble steps, but not just one staircase. Multiple levels, repeating the same structure over and over again. As if this wasn't just a random formation, but part of something bigger, much bigger. And that raises a disturbing possibility. What if we're not looking at a single structure, but the remains of an entire complex? Because if even a portion of this is artificial, then what we're seeing might only be the surface, the visible part of something buried deeper. hidden beneath layers of rock, sand, and time. And then there's another detail, one that makes this even harder to explain. Some edges appear eroded, but others look almost untouched, as if different parts of the structure were exposed at different times, or worse, as if some parts weren't shaped by nature at all. And this is where the mystery becomes even more complicated. Because if Yonaguni was once above water, then it existed during a time when the world looked very different. Entire coastlines were miles away from where they are today. Land that is now ocean was once habitable, which means if a civilization did exist there, we may never find most of it, because it's still underwater, still hidden, still unexplored. And maybe we've already seen structures like this before, but dismissed them, called them natural, ignored the possibility that something didn't quite make sense. Because accepting that possibility would mean admitting something uncomfortable, that human history might not be as complete as we think. Over time, several theories have tried to explain Yonaguni, and each one comes with its own problems. The most widely accepted explanation is that it's natural, just geology, time, and erosion. But if that's the case, why does it look so intentional? Others believe this is evidence of a lost civilization, one that existed before recorded history and disappeared when sea levels rose at the end of the last ice age. If true, this would change everything we know about human history. But without physical evidence, it remains just a theory. There's also the idea that Yonaguni started as a natural formation and was later modified by humans, which would explain why some parts look structured and others don't. But again, no proof. And then there's the possibility no one likes to admit, that we don't fully understand what we're looking at, that Yonaguni doesn't fit into any category we know. And maybe we're asking the wrong questions. Because the truth is, the ocean still holds more mysteries than answers. We've explored more of the surface of Mars than we have of our own seafloor. Entire landscapes remain hidden, untouched, unseen, and possibly unexplained. Yonaguni might not be unique. It might just be the first of many. So we come back to the same question. If this is a structure, then who built it? And if it's not, then why does it look like one? Because either way, something doesn't make sense. And maybe the most unsettling part of all is not what we're looking at, but what we might still be missing.